Hi everyone, it's Karen and I'm back with my second design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, and this is for the month of May. I just want to remind you all to go over to her store and look at all the beautiful goodies she has for you to craft with. The postal strike in Canada is an ongoing thing at the moment. They are still delivering mail. They're in talks, so you can still order from the store, I believe, and she's still able to ship things out. And if you have any questions, you can just message her on Etsy and she will tell you any updates that there are, because I think it's on a kind of a day-to-day basis right now with Canada Post. And please go over and check out the other designers. I will leave links to the store, to the Facebook group, to the Instagram, and all the other designers, so you can go over and see what beautiful projects they're making, things that they were inspiring you with, using all the beautiful goodies from AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. So what I created was a couple of little folders that have little journals inside and some other pockets or tucks. They're both a little bit different. They were supposed to be something small and they got completely out of hand, as projects sometimes do. So they turned into something a lot bigger. So there's one that's in mostly pinks and one that's more lilacs with a bit of purple. And Kim's laces are adorning the covers. I used some inside as well, but the main thing for me was to make the folders and then use her beautiful laces and trims that she had sent me to decorate the actual fronts of the folders. So this is the lilac one, and the folders are all stitched, and I've done lots of stitching inside on the lilac one too, on some of the journaling cards. And then I added this gorgeous lace here that you can see better on the back. And if you're wanting to see any of the laces up close, you can check out my team package video, which is earlier this month, and it shows each of the laces individually. This is a beautiful lace. I think it's about 4 inches wide, and it has this beautiful texture to it, and it's raised and just really, really lovely on sort of the binding of the folder here. And then I put a layer of this lace, and that was in my design team package. I put that along the edge here. I love that lace. I've had it before. It's a really pretty, delicate little lace with a lovely shape to it. And then she sent some appliques in different colors. So I took the lilac one apart and I used the base of it here. And it's kind of, I left it unattached here so that the closure could go around underneath it instead of going over top of it, because it just covers it up then. And then I used a piece of the dangle trim that she sent, so that beautiful white floral dangle trim, and then here's the gorgeous dangles. And I added in a couple more dangles just in the center here to make it even fuller. So it's beautiful dangle on the front here. And then you can see that applique underneath and coming out here. And then I also added a flower that I had in my stash that was a slightly different purple, darker color to this one, because the papers have sort of different colors of lilacs and pinks in them. So I kind of did that as an accent on the top. And then this is a chiffon frayed ribbon that's tying it closed. And then these are 3 little chiffon fabric butterflies out of my stash that I put on the front. And the back has, of course, that lace that wraps around the spine. And then it has a wraparound closure. So on this side of the closure, I have cut up that applique that she sent, 2 of them to me, and that's how I think she sells them in the store. And I cut them up and applied them on the edge here where this folds over. And I'll show you that more when I open it up. So that's the outside, and that's how I used a lot of the laces that she sent, just to really pretty up the covers. I love adding lace to the covers of my journals, makes them so pretty. And I love this one, how this ended up turning out, because it really is really, really pretty. I've wrapped it right around, and I've taken and cut separate leaves and separate little pieces and pieced it all together so that it really looks really pretty, but it also looks like it is one piece, and it wraps right around and comes around to this side of that wrap. And then there's that. And I added a little piece here wrapping round that goes around to the inside of the flap here, and just is up, and then the flowers at the top here, and then a little bit down the side here. So it really wrapped around there nicely, and it looks really nice. So when it opens like that. You see that flap that comes over, and when that opens, there's actually some tuck spots and stuff in there as well. So I've sort of, it's all layered up, but there's a pocket first of all, and in that pocket is a journaling card and a bunch of little goodies that I've tucked in there with a paper clip. And then the next is this pocket here in the back that is with the dragonfly, and there's some hydrangea here. And I've tucked a beautiful bookmark in there that I have stitched and collaged on, and added some of my own little bit of lilac lace to the top. And then I made another little tuck spot here, and I used a little piece of her blue lace. She had this in blue and cream in the shop, and I had just little bits left in my tidbit box, so I got those out and I used that there because it really went along with the blue. And then I just made a tiny little journaling spot to tuck in there. And then on this side, of the inside of the cover, I've got a little corner tuck here. And this is an applique that was in a past design team project, but it fit beautifully on here. And there was another little piece, and I used it in the back of the journal. And so I added that on there. And then I tucked 3 little journaling cards in here. And then I made a tuck spot at the top here. You can see the stitching that I did. And I did a journaling card in there that's all stitched on as well. It's tucked in there. And then there's the pages of the journal. Now, what's interesting about this journal is that it is a removable journal. The journal itself is sewn together, so even when you remove it from here, it will stay together. So there's 2 sets of strings I've put in the middle. The one set of strings has the pretty little beads on the ends and the hearts, and that's the one that holds the actual journal together. You can see it comes from the middle of the journal. And then if you want to take it out of here, this one is just tied, and it just ties the journal into the folder. So if you use this journal and you wanted to take it out and put a new journal in this little folder, you could easily do that, because you could just tie a new one in. And you could just use this as a template for your page size. So it's a really cute idea. I really like it. So on this side of the page is a little tuck spot and another little bookmark or journaling spot. I've done lots of collaging and stitching on it for this little journal. This is some pretty digitals that I had that you cut around them, and then I added some textured paper in behind. And then I added some lace from my stash and a little journaling spot, or a little tuck spot here with some little journaling cards. This is a beautiful piece from one of Kim's laces. I just love this lace that she had, and I had a few pieces left, so I just tucked this one here because it went along with another piece that I had made previously with this lace, and I used that in here too, so I decided to use this other piece that I had. And you can also use it as a little tuck spot. There's room in there. Another little journaling card stitched on, and a little pocket here. Digital paper, and I've added these little lace butterflies on here that I've created with lace and beads. And there's lots of beautiful digitals and papers in this pretty lilac journal. This is another one of the acetate stickers that I've just put in here. These can be added onto a page. You could put a photo in behind there when you add it on, or I've just tucked it in here in this tuck spot, and I've put this little fussy cut behind it, because you could actually like put the fussy cut down on a page and add that over the top, just to give you an idea and just to have something tucked in there. Another journaling card, and again it is backed with tea stain paper this time and is stitched around. More digital papers, some beautiful piece of Kim's lace. This was from a previous design team package. When I'm doing up the inside pages on these journals, it's nice to use up little bits that you have left. Here's more of that pretty blue lace. I just cut it differently and applied 2 pieces of it here. This is a cute little paper clip that I made. I really like how it turned out. It's got the paper clip and with some lace on it and some butterflies, and they're stickled. And then the other side of it has just a little quote on it. And so I tucked it here on this page and tucked this little journaling card underneath it. And another pretty digital, some more pretty digitals, and some more of that fun textured paper. Some little bits that I tucked in here, you can fussy cut those out yourself if this journal was yours. This is a flippy section where I did so a little bit of lace and a flip this way, and then washi and a flip this way. So you've got lots of journaling space and lots of sort of secret journaling space, which I like that idea in a journal. And then this is the center page, which is super pretty. I just love that. And then this is another little use some of Kim's lace bits. This is the beige one. That's the same as the blue one that I was showing you. And I used it on both sides. I used a little bit here on this side to create this little tuck spot on this page. And then on this one, I used it here and I've cut little bits of it out. I just had little bits of that one left. Then this flips, and this is actually a little piece in here that just tucks in here. And I liked how the pages looked with the coloring, so I did that. This one I added some fussy cut flowers from one of her laces and added little butterflies in the center. Another digitals and just some more of that textured paper just for something fun. More digitals and a little, two little cards that are joined together and flipped on the page. And another little piece of paper in here for journaling on. Here's that piece that I had created before in one of my other design team videos. Has that beautiful floral on it. And then it has some of that cream lace that I used in this journal as well. So it really fit in here beautifully with the colors. So I used that. It has the 2 clips on the side. These were the ones that I created when you can create paper clips in my video. And I use the paper clips to actually clip them onto the page. So you can see the heart paper clips on that side. Just a little bit of lace from my stash, more digitals. And beautiful, another piece of Kim's dangle trim. This is the same as the one on the front cover. This pretty white one. I just sort of used it there as a page turner or a tab and left the dangle on it. I thought it looked so pretty. And then this just has some little quotes in it that you can use in the journal. A little tuck spot created again with a little bit of lace from a previous lace. She might even still have this one in the shop. Another one of those little organza butterflies from my stash, and a few more little journaling spots. Some more collage work on this page, on the back of this digital, and lots of journaling space in here. Plus there's lots of extra journaling space. I made a few of these little flippy out pads and stitched on the fronts of them and tucked them in here so that whoever has this one is similar, I think. Nope, this one just flips this way and has several pages in there. But you'd have lots of places, or you could take some of these out and use them in your purse or on a short trip somewhere if you wanted to just keep some journaling notes. Then in the back, so this is all tied in here, and then in the back is a deep pocket, corner pocket. There's in the back another beautiful applique like the one that was in the front. That's previously from Kim's shop. Appliques are just so much fun to work with, and if you ever see them in her shop, get them, because you can cut them up and you can use them in so many ways. And well, that's what I did on this one too. This is appliques all cut up and used to cover the fold and make it look pretty on the cover. So appliques are just, this is another one she had, and they're just perfect to get. And then this is another one of those little flippy pads that I made. I think this is a journaling card with tea stain paper on the back and stitching, and this is another one of those little booklet things where you open it up and then it opens up and you can get lots of journaling space in there. These are fun to take if you're going on a weekend trip and you are a journaler and you want to write about wherever you're going. You can just take that piece with you, and it saves you taking the whole journal. And that's the back page I showed you already. So really prettied up really nicely with Kim's trims, and it just flips like that, and then that flips over like that, and the tie goes back on and she ties all up. So I won't waste time doing that right this minute. I'll go on to the pink one. So the pink one, this was another, she sent this gorgeous beaded lace, and that's another thing that's so worth getting because I cut it all up and used it to do the flap on this journal. The binding is on this side actually, and this is the flap like the other one, and it's all this gorgeous beading, and then I added 3 of my own little beaded butterflies on there as well. And then this one I've closed with this beautiful pinky coral colored crinkle, I forget what it's called. I always do this when why is it we lose our words when we go to do a video? But anyway, you all know what it is. And I just put a buckle on the end of it. I just thought it looked pretty. That comes right off. This one, the signature is also removable. These are brads that are holding it in. And then this gorgeous lace again, like I used on the lilac one, I used on this one as well. So pretty. Such a lovely texture to it. This is a lace from a previous design team package, but it just looked so pretty down there. I had to use that one. And then as you can see, that lace with all the beading just wraps right around the whole folder part here. So just creates such a pretty cover on this one. And then this flips open, and on the inside of here, I just, and to the front cover of the little journal, I cut apart some of her netted lace that I had from her previous design team package, and I put it all through here. And again, piecing it together to look the way I wanted it to. And then ran it so it sort of looks like it flows over onto the journal, but it's actually separate from, this is part of the folder, this is part of the journal. Then I used another one of the appliques she sent, this the light pink one. And then I just tucked some other little lace bits from one of her other laces in behind it. And this was another lace she had sent in my design team package, and I ran that down the side here. Really pretty lace with leaves and florals and the scroll detailing. Really, really pretty, and it just matched these peony papers in this one. This one's got roses and peonies and that type of thing in it. Digitals, added a little floral and some of the leaves onto that bookmark. Just one of her pink laces with the florals on it from one of my other design team packages. Added that to the bottom of this one. The pink trim that was in my design team package, I took it apart. I used the lace I think some of it, actually some of it's just down the side of this page right here. Let me show you right here. That was the lace overlay, and then it had the pink rosebuds all on it. So I've got a bunch of those pink rosebuds just laying on my desk here. I'll be using those in another project. And then I took the chiffon and I frayed out all the edges, and then I sewed it with a bit of a pleat, and I put that down the side of the page here and added some little florals from one of the laces cut apart and put there. Lots of digitals, pretty digitals, roses, textured papers of interest. A little belly band and an interesting little journal card, a little tuck with another little journaling card, and then has like a pocket, and there's like 2 more little journaling spots in there. Pretty peonies on a teacup in the center. And this one, you can see this is how the journal is tied together. So no matter what, the journal stays intact, and it has some beads and a little butterfly hanging on the end of the embroidery floss here. And then here are the brads, the backs of the 2 brads that are holding it into the actual cover. So again, it can be removed and replaced with another one if this were full. There's another piece of that chiffon from that lace, all frayed out. It frays really nicely and then gathered up on here with some little florals from one of her laces. Just lots of digitals and different roses and peonies, that kind of thing. Another beautiful lace tuck spot created with her that pink lace. She usually restocks this regularly in her store, so it may be there again. And a couple of journaling cards and some texture paper and some tissue, pretty pink tissue paper over this one. This flips up and you just have a pretty page. I just added things in that were just pleasing to the eye, and some of the digitals I added like little frames around a rose and added that in with butterflies on the pages and little quotes and that as well. Beautiful digitals. Again, this is a tea bag pocket, and I just put some of Kim's lace on the corner here and some papers, and then inside is just a little flippy pad that I created, and that just fits inside that little tea bag. And then on the strings is just tied a little sticker that I created and printing on sticker paper, and then just tied it onto the string there. And then in this one, in the folder part, I have created a belly band with that beautiful pink, one of the pink laces that was in my design team package, and that's the paper in the background. And then this is just this is a digital, gorgeous digital, and I just took it and I folded it as nicely as I could so that I wouldn't like put lines through that gorgeous rose, and I just tucked it in there so you would have lots of journaling space, or you could write a letter to somebody if you still actually write paper letters. Good on you, because I like to do that too, and send it to someone. And then here is one of those little accordion folders that I made in my last design team video. This is a different one. I created this one, same idea, but I made it to fit in here and added some washi and some lace, some of that lace on the edge. And then this is also one of Kim's laces from a previous design team package. And in here I've just tucked a little ephemera pouch, a little postcard, paper postcard, and some other digital papers and some more of that beautiful tissue paper. And it's all lined with music paper. It's really pretty. And then in the very back cover, I've created a pocket with that gorgeous lace that's on the front cover. And in the pocket is a beautiful journaling card, and then one of those tea bag pockets. And this one I have just put some papers and butterfly and some little bit of lace on there, and another little flippy pad in there. So lots of pretty little things in there to discover when you're going through. And this one closes, that goes down, this goes over, this goes round, and then this comes down like that. And the tie goes around it. And just wraps around a couple times and then goes through the buckle. And you can wrap it as many times as you want. If you wanted to only wrap it twice and put it through the buckle, you just have a longer tail. So however you like to do it is how you would do it if this were yours. And both of these will probably be for sale once the postal situation here in Canada settles down. If you're interested at all, you can just message me. My email is in the description box below, and I can let you know more about them. There's the pink one, and there's the lilac one. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing my two little folder journals that I created as my design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim. Go over to the store and do some shopping and do some creating of your own. Don't forget to check out the designers. Their information is in the description box, as is my email address if you want to contact me or leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd appreciate that. And thanks so much for coming by. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye for now.